April came and went so fast that I felt like, and still do feel like, I had whiplash. Okay, I ended up reading 6 books, which may or may not be impressive to you, but I have 3 kids and I work full time, so 6 books is absolutely chef's kiss. Okay, chef's kiss. And while I understand that we are now at the end of May, I am still posting this video. She can't be stopped, but who is she? I'm Sarah. This is my Unhinged Book Society channel where I talk about typically thrillers, every now and again a romance, deep dives on authors' backlogs and things of the like. If you like those morally gray thrillers that involve like very weird, deep, dark things, and you find it hard to discuss it without someone looking at you like you are certifiable, I'm your gal. I love that. Let's be friends. Let's talk about it down below. Today's wrap up is a full-blown ride. We've got 5-star obsessions, we've got dramatic letdowns, we've got my personal commentary, and one book that I just could not with. I'll break down everything that I read, why I loved them, the DNF and my reasons behind it, and which books deserve to be made into the big screen. Let's do it. Okay, so first book I read in April was First Lie Wins. And this entire setup, all the books that I'm reading, shouldn't be a surprise if you are following my Instagram. I post on there all the time, all of like my bookish things, and you know, when I start a new book, when I finish it, like that kind of stuff. So follow me over there if you are not. But the first book that I read in the month was First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. I really did enjoy this book. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that this was the best book that I read. I don't even know if I would put it top 5 from this year so far, but there were quite a few things that I did enjoy about it. I forgot to say spoilers. So if you don't want a spoiler for a specific book, then skip over that section. But what really captured me about this book and led me to rate it a solid 4 was how it was kind of laid out. I wasn't expecting for their meet cute to be planned and like contrived on the female characters, and that was impressive to me. I didn't see that coming, and that happened relatively early, so it definitely hooked me in and had me staying through the end. I also really liked kind of the, I don't know exactly what you would call it, but I did also enjoy her, we'll say, choice of career and how it led her to this path. And I absolutely agree that once you are considered expendable, you are 100% expendable. So I thought that that was unique. I really enjoyed kind of like the banter between the male main character and his friends and how they kind of always weren't trustworthy. I thought that it was honestly chef's kiss that Evie's boss brought in a lookalike of her actual self. I thought that that entire section, and then killed her off, like that entire section was shocking to me. I wasn't expecting that at all, but I really did like the angle and kind of how it kept you guessing. And then they targeted Andrew's like friend to be her boyfriend. I don't know. That whole section really was impressive to me. I don't think it's earth-shattering. Maybe earth-shattering was harsh. It is not a book that has stuck with me, but I do find myself thinking about it from time to time. So solid 4 on First Lie Wins. Next up, we have Society of Lies by Lauren Ling Brown. I actually ended up reading 2 books 5 stars this month, and this is one of them. It's just that I absolutely love it. I think about this book all the time. I think about the things that happen to the characters. It's got some very clear, dark academia tones to it, and I love that. I'm a teacher, call me old-fashioned, okay? But I really enjoyed that. I really liked the secret society angle. I was expecting it, right? Because like it's in the description that there are secret societies, but I really enjoyed it and kind of how everything was portrayed. I typically don't enjoy plot lines with wealthy people, especially younger, like college age ones, because they usually feel overly entitled to me. But this book did not have that. And I do think it's because of the diverse characters and the different like storytelling modes. It's written in dual point of view, and one of the point of views is written chronologically and the other point of view is written reverse chronologically, and they're sisters. It's just got so many really great ties to it. I very, very much so enjoyed it and highly recommend. This is also a really great pick if you're looking for something outside of your typical norm. I knew I was going to love it. First of all, let's give a moment for the cover. That's absolutely just giving. I really loved this book. I just think that this is a great read if you're looking for a more diverse character map, and if you're looking for something a little bit different, because the way it's written was hard for a lot of people to follow. I noticed a lot of the lower reviews were because, like on Goodreads, were because people were having a hard time keeping track, but I did not have a hard time keeping track. I absolutely loved it. So definitely 5-star recommend. Now, after I read that, I went with Such a Quiet Place by Megan Miranda. I got this book from like the bargain section of Books A Million. And I will say I liked it. But for me personally, aside from the DNF, this one was my least favorite. I will say there were definitely things I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting Ruby to come back into the story the way that she did. That happens super early on. She gets like released from jail. I wasn't expecting that. I also really wasn't expecting Harper to just kind of like those are like the two main female characters. I also wasn't expecting Harper to just kind of like let her back in. I think that it's really good, but it's just not something that I'm still thinking about. And when you read as many thrillers as I do feel like that is one of my tells, right? If it's rated below a 4.5 stars for me, then in my opinion, then that means I'm not still thinking about it. It wasn't deep enough for me. It wasn't enough for me. And this is one of those titles. Do I think it's good? Yes. And I would say if you're looking for a light read that's not gory or gut-wrenching or like clings to your bones, I think that this would be a good pick. Like if you, for those reasons, and if you're like new into thrillers, then I would recommend it. But where I'm at in my journey, this one was just a little bit light for me. Again, nice read, right? I read it relatively quickly, but it just wasn't my fave. After that, I got the new release, The Note from Alifair Burke, which actually the Easter Bunny brought for me. So I read it Easter weekend. I did really like it. There were some things that I wasn't expecting. And when I tell you I was shocked to learn that, like, okay, let me start at the beginning. So the jacket description of this book says it was meant to be a harmless prank, okay? And then a whole bunch of stuff unravels. The harmless prank, again, this is a spoiler just in case I wasn't like clear before. The harmless prank is that some of the girls leave a note on some guy's car saying that he was cheating, and then he gets like murdered. So I wasn't like, the way that the story unfolds, I didn't realize that the harmless prank was the note until like significantly far into the book. I also do feel, and I've thought this about a couple of other new releases too, specifically Parents Weekend by Alex Finlay, that the title and the cover and the story, like the cover art and the story, do not like triangulate. The note is a part of the book, right? The note is the harmless prank. You see the cover and you read the description of a harmless prank gone wrong between women that are like away for the weekend, enjoying their weekend away. I thought that the harmless prank was going to be, and I was so dead set on it because of the cover art, I thought that it was going to be like an accidental drowning, right? But the pool really has nothing to do with the story other than they're staying at a house that has one. So in my opinion, I think that the cover art could have been a little more fine-tuned to the story to kind of make it connect and triangulate better. But I'm no artist. Like, I'm literally a teacher that reads crazy thrillers, okay? So take that with all the grains of salt. Again, I liked it and I did end up rating it 4 stars. There's so many different pieces that fit nicely together. It just, the cover for me was not matching or aligning. That's okay, right? It's not written just for me, and other people probably disagree, which is totally fine. So did I like it? Yes. Am I still thinking about it? No. Do I think that you should get it? I do. I think it's a good one. I do. I think it's a good one. It was my first Alistair Burke title, and I did enjoy it. Nothing wrong with it at all, but it just is not something that I am personally still thinking about. All right, here it is. The other 5-star that I read, Lucy Foley's The Midnight Feast. Now, I do typically like to do a back and forth. I do throw in a few new releases, some older titles, lesser known authors, viral authors, and make sure that I'm giving like a super broad thriller perspective, because I know not everyone wants to buy the new release while it's so expensive, especially if you're like a fast reader. So I kind of go back and forth, right? So I actually got this from Books A Million's Bargain Center. Great way to get some books for a steal. They're mostly hardbacks and they're usually $7.95. So, or what is it, $7.97, something like that. So yes, this is one of those that I got from the Bargain Center. And let me tell you, I wish I would have read it so sooner. It definitely had a viral moment, and that moment has since passed. Okay, now we're old news, but not to me. I read this and absolutely loved it. I still think about it. And now every time I see a crow, I'm like freaking, like, because crows are extreme. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but crows are like super smart. Okay. They can like remember people's specific faces. Okay. They are so smart. It's actually very fascinating if you're into birds, all of the things that crows can do. So yes, when I first got this, I was definitely not keen on reading it, because I was under the impression that the Midnight Feast meant that people were going to go for like a cult-like feast, and one of the people attending the feast was going to become the feast, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. But I did learn that that was obviously wrong. What a great story. So many twists that I wasn't expecting. Such a beautifully written plot that circles fully, adds in unexpected elements. The cover art, let's give that a moment as well. It just, wow. I truly wasn't expecting it to be the way that it was. I really liked the back and forth between one of the main characters' current self and former self. She like reads an old diary that brings back a lot of really bad memories for her. It's kind of like a revenge moment. Well, it's not kind of, it's definitely got a revenge moment. There are multiple points of view. There are so many entanglements that I wasn't expecting. There were a few things like, hold on, I read some notes. Let me refer to them. At one point when I was reading, I thought that what ended up happening was, oh my gosh, I thought I was so smart for this. I thought that Francesca killed Bella's boyfriend, Jake. And that's why she came back. But it ends up not being the case. Jake ends up still being alive and like coming back at the end. The human bird angle was honestly stunning. It was such a great plot line to the story that added so much fear that would not have otherwise been there. So it's a really truly great story. And then like the twist at the end, I don't even want to say, just in case you haven't read it yet, but you're still watching this, but you didn't skip ahead when I told you that there were going to be spoilers. I won't spoil that in for you, but it was just such, like, I cannot rave about this book enough. I don't know what I would pick if I had to choose this and Society of Lies. Like if I had to choose between the two, I truly do not know which one I would pick. We're on to the final, and this is the book that I did not finish, but it might not be for the reason that you're thinking. So this is The Island by Natasha Preston. Obviously, I chose this book based on the cover art. Look at that, the island with the theme park in absolute ruins. It speaks to me. The description, listen to it. Jagged Island, a private amusement park for the very rich or very influential. Okay, there's a group of social media influencers that go for an exclusive weekend before the park opens. When they get there, they're stunned. The resort is even better than they imagined. But obviously, that's not how the story ends. Let me tell you something. I didn't realize when I bought this that this was a young adult title. And so I did continue to read it after I found that out, but it just wasn't speaking to me in the way that I like. And I think that it's just honestly because it was written for a younger audience. My daughter really wants to read it. She's going on 11. So I might try and finish it so I can see if she can read it. She really, really wants to, but I gotta read it myself and make sure, you know, things are up to par there. But yeah, unfortunately, this was a DNF for me, which is a shame because I do think that if it was written like in an older version, that I would really like it. Which reminds me, I may have actually found the older version of it during my last trip to Books A Million, and that is Never Coming Home by Kate Williams. This is giving the same vibe as The Island. It says 10 influencers, 1 island, a vacation to die for. So it does kind of seem to me like they could be corresponding, and perhaps this one will be what I hoped that this one would be. We'll see. I hope to read that one very soon, but if you watch my other videos, you know my TBR is 10 miles long and I cannot help myself. So just to do a quick recap, a quick yes or no, should you read? Back at the beginning, should you read? Yes. Probably not. Maybe? Yes. 100% yes. 100% yes. Probably not if you're not into young adult titles.